Everything happens for a reason. What if the worst thing happening in your life today is actually saving you from something worse tomorrow? Long ago, there lived a powerful king and his wise minister. The minister had one habit that often annoyed the king. No matter what happened, good or bad, the minister would always say, "Everything happens for our own good." One day, the king and his minister went hunting deep into the forest. While preparing food, the king accidentally slipped while using a knife. The blade cut off one of his fingers. The king screamed in pain. Doctors were called immediately, and the wound was treated. As everyone stood worried around him, the minister calmly looked at the king and said, "Your Majesty, everything happens for our own good." The king was furious. "My finger is gone forever, and you say this is for my own good?" In anger, he ordered the guards to arrest the minister and throw him into prison for life. As the guards took him away, the minister bowed and said, "Everything happens for our own good." The king became even more irritated. Days passed, weeks passed. Eventually, the king forgot about the incident. One day, he decided to go hunting again in the forest. This time, the minister was not with him. As evening approached, the king and his soldiers lost their way. Darkness covered the forest. Exhausted, they decided to camp for the night. But while they slept, a group of tribal warriors surrounded them. At sunrise, the king and his soldiers were captured. The tribe had a tradition. Every year, they offered a human sacrifice to their deity. One by one, the soldiers were brought forward, and one by one, they were sacrificed. Finally, it was the king's turn. The tribal chief stepped forward to inspect him. Suddenly, he noticed something. The king was missing a finger. The chief immediately stepped back. According to their tradition, a sacrifice had to be physically complete. Anyone with a missing body part was considered impure and could not be offered. The chief ordered the king to be released immediately. The king couldn't believe it. The very finger he had cursed had just saved his life. As he rode back to his kingdom, one thought kept repeating in his mind. The minister was right. The moment he returned, he rushed to the prison and ordered the minister's release. The minister walked out smiling. The king embraced him and said, "My friend, forgive me. You were right. Losing my finger saved my life. Everything truly happened for my own good." The minister smiled. "Yes, Your Majesty." Then the king asked, "But tell me one thing. I threw you into prison for life. How could that possibly be good for you?" The minister folded his hands and replied, "Your Majesty, if you had not imprisoned me, I would have gone hunting with you that day." The king nodded. The minister continued, "And unlike you, I have all my fingers." For a moment, the king stood silent. Then he understood. If the minister had been there, he would have been chosen as the sacrifice. The prison that seemed like a punishment had actually saved his life. The king looked at the minister with tears in his eyes. That day, both men learned a lesson they would never forget. Sometimes life doesn't make sense when we're going through it. Sometimes what looks like a setback, a failure, a loss, or even a punishment may actually be protecting us from something we cannot see. So when life doesn't go according to your plan, remember this story. Not everything happens the way we want, but sometimes everything happens exactly the way it needs to. Because what feels like the worst chapter today may become the reason you're alive tomorrow.